Hi everyone, so my name is Mikela Eskenazi and I work at Blippar as a senior brand partner. So as mentioned, Blippar is one of the leading companies in augmented reality and image recognition. So I'm very, very happy to be here. It's great to see so many women interested in this topic. So today I'm going to talk about augmented reality and hopefully to show you how it's actually shaping the way we interact with the world and the physical world around us. So before we completely dive into the subject, I want to take a step back and encourage us to think of actually how do we look at the world around us and comparing how we look at it as humans and how computers look at it. Because that is very important to understand that, to be able to understand this entire industry. So to be able to do that, we're going to do a small exercise. So here on the screen you can see a board, and on top of it a green cylinder. And we can see two letters, A and B. Now seemingly the B is in the shade and they seem to have a different color. So I'd like a vote here, and could please everybody vote on, is A and B a different color? So who thinks that they're a different color, please raise your hand. So it's pretty much half for everybody, or people don't know where I'm asking this. But most of us, we see that it's quite a different color. Now, if I take these two bars that are the same color and actually bring them back, look at what happens. A and B actually become completely the same color. So what happened back here when you look at it is that our brains is calculating and automatically knowing that this is the shade of the cylinder, and our perception is that yes, that they're going to be a different color. So is this reality or not? That's a debate. But the point is the way that we see it, because of our learnings of our entire lives, is seeing this different, but a computer will see A and B exactly as the same color. Now, that poses obviously quite a challenge, because image recognition is not only about the technology, but it's actually about our perception of an image. So on the image below, here the computer would say, a man riding a horse down a street next to a building. Whereas for us as humans, we know that this is a statue. So this is the type of challenge that we're facing in this industry. And the interesting part is that right now, computer vision needs to become like our brains. So that's why it's actually a field of artificial intelligence, because more and more computers need to think like humans and learn from past images to be able to predict what a new image looks like. So the next big transformative trend in technology will all be about computer vision and machine learning. So in the web era, the keywords and the buzzwords that actually led us to here were, HTML, JavaScript, all these type of things. But increasingly, you're going to hear in the computer vision world, computer vision, deep learning, machine learning, computer vision, open source. And this is a whole new trend that is starting right now around this field. So now that we understood a bit more the difference between how humans look at it and the significance of computer vision, I want to take you through quickly between the difference between the reality, augmented reality, and then up to virtual reality. So I know a lot of us hear these buzzwords all the time, and we sort of mention them, and they're in the news, and we see cool videos, but what does it actually mean? So hopefully, after today, you'll feel confident about these words and actually what they mean. So let's start with the real world. Well, the real world is what we see with our eyes and what we understand. Now, one interesting point here is that vision and sight is our primary sense. 80% of our understanding of the world happens through sight. So, and that is reflected in the way that we use our smartphones. So the camera is right now one of the most used items of, just again, because everybody's like this, and it's exactly that. This is a new behavior. The camera is actually an extension of our eyes. On the second element, we have augmented reality. So augmented reality is an interaction with the real world. So it's a technology digital overlay on the real world. So you must be connecting with the world around you, and augmented reality is enhancing that. So in this field, we have companies like Blippar, Vuforia, Metaio, Lair, who are all in this industry. Some of them, like Blippar, can offer you a common browser, or Lair allows you to introduce their software in any app or in any technology that you have. Then we have augmented virtuality. I'm not sure anybody heard about that before. But this is a mix between being in an avatar world but still acting as yourself. So this is, for example, Nintendo, the Wii, the Kinect. So I'm in this avatar world, but it's still me interacting with it. So with these two fields, computer vision is extremely important, because to be able to interact with the physical world and the world around you, it means that a computer needs to understand it, track it, and be able to connect with it. So this is why computer vision is so important. And then we have virtual reality. So virtual reality is a complete immersion into another environment. It does not need to connect with the physical world. So you could be in this room, or you could be in Hawaii and put your head-mounted device and have the exact same experience. And then we have great companies like Oculus Rift who are doing amazing things in Facebook, and I know there was talks about this also this morning, and it's also a fascinating industry. So a lot of industries are impacted by this. In augmented reality, I'll show you some examples after, but advertising, education, gaming, retail, all of this are impacted by that, and similar in virtual reality. So what happens in the future when all of this gets mixed up? So a lot of people also talk about mixed reality, this moment of bliss of, there's a confusion between the two, and I think somebody also talked about this morning. And it's possible that next generation coming, kids that grow up with this, they will not have necessarily the same perception of reality as we do today. So what does this all really mean? It's very exciting, it's very futuristic, but from a business standpoint, why should we be interested in this? Well, this is actually a big trend, and many big research companies predict the growth of AR that is happening right now. So the industry will be 120 billion industry by 2020. Now that's really big. It will impact many different things, from hardware to e-commerce, to enterprise, to consumer. So there's many different ways to engage in this. And what's interesting is that with AR, you're actually looking at technology from a very human way, because the way we interact with the world is actually pushing us to understand more how we behave as humans rather than how we behave just on a screen. So next, I've talked a lot about theory, but I'm going to go into demonstrations and show you some of this amazing technology through demos. Because the reality is this can seem very futuristic, but this is happening right now. This industry is growing right now, and companies like Blippar have already been, voted by CNBC one of the top disruptive companies in the world. So just while I prepare that, I'm gonna just give this to somebody. Can somebody draw something on this, and then I'll show you what happens in the end. So if anyone wants to try that, and then I'll pick it up at the end.
Drawing, anyone? Yeah?
Oh, great. So I'm gonna open my phone here. So who here ever tried Blippar or another augmented reality app? Okay, a few people. So great. So I'm going to show you how this works. So I open Blippar on my phone here, and as you can see, immediately it's a browser, and it tries to recognize things. I'll just need your help to do that. Okay. So I'm going to start by showing you advertising examples and how we work with very large brands and how they adopt this, and then some in education and in everyday life. So this is kind of Pepsi, and for the World Cup, Pepsi actually created an augmented reality campaign on all of their bottles. So I'm going to point my phone to the can. And as you can see, it triggers this experience. I'm going to put the sound as well. Yeah, great. So this was an amazing campaign, and millions and billions of bottles were actually interactive, and people engaging with that. So I'm going to try this now. So the goal here is let's track. So here we need to go into it. Oh, wow. Okay. Okay, I knew this was a bit of luck. So you see a bit the point, but you can actually create engaging experiences with the product themselves. So this is another very simple example. This was actually one of our first campaigns ever 3 years ago. And so this is with Heinz ketchup. So if you have this at home, you can also show it to your friends and roommates and be like, oh, this is cool. And so this is like videos and recipes and things like that. So it's really something you can try by yourself. So the reason why this is becoming so disruptive for brands is because ultimately for them, their product is their most important item. Of course, they do all sorts of media, but creating communication through their main product, and they have billions of these in the market, is actually opening up an entire new channel of communication with their consumers, and that's why they're buying into it so quickly. So, of course, because we have a room of wonderful women here, I had to show this as well. So this is an example with Maybelline. So this is on a print ad. So imagine they're launching a whole new range of nail polish, and all of us are not very risky with that. So here I'm going to try them on. I didn't have time to do my manicure, so this is a bit weird, but and here I can actually try all the colors. So what was very interesting in this case study is that the colors that were actually the most tried were also the ones that were the most bought in retail. So this actually had an influence in the retail strategy of the brand on how people engage with that. So yes, and then of course you can share with your friends and, oh, do you like this one? Should I buy it? Etc., etc. So now that we saw a few of the advertising examples, I'm going to go in a bit into like more cultural, everyday ways that you can use Blippar and augmented reality. So of course, there'll be World Cup, we're all talking about it, it's the big thing. And what we did with them is that all of the tickets are actually interactive. So you can see the stadium here, how it's moving. I can take it away, and we were able to guide people on where they can sit in the stand. So every single person that had a ticket was able to look at that, etc. You could take pictures with the players, you could share stuff. So an entire immersive experience at a one-to-one just through the ticket. And that was tremendously successful, and obviously it's still continuing right now. Another one that was just mentioned before, so this is something that we did with the Queen. So any £5 note, £10 note, £20 note that you have, we did have to get agreement with the Bank of England to do this, I must admit, is actually interactive. So,
No way.
Yeah, it's true. This is reality this time. No, it's fine. So this was obviously for to celebrate the Queen. So since a few weeks we have this. So obviously you can see her story. You can see the news. And something fun is that you can take a selfie with her. We'll call a volunteer here, please. Somebody? No?
We'll just do it.
Oh, then I'll just do it with you. You're not very happy, but there you go. So this is really a super funny experience, and you see all these buttons here, and you can share with your friends, you can share on social media, and we had tremendous engagement. It was a super funny experience. So you all have this in your bag, so you can try it as well.
When they print the note, when was they printing it?
So they don't need to change anything on the note.
Oh no?
No, so we take the note as it is, and we can recognize it as it is. Great. So now we saw that the fun stuff. I also want to show you what we're doing in education, because this is a really, really big industry also for augmented reality. So this is an image of a volcano. So this is in books, and teachers are using this to teach their students in geography classes. So here I blip it. And I see the volcano come to life, and it's going to open up as well. when I saw this, I was like, I wish I had this as a kid. I would be much better in my geography classes. So here you can see there are some white pieces, so as if the information is not complete. And the reason why is because this experience is actually controlled by the teacher in the class. So he controls the environment, and he has all his students engaging, and he's pushing the content to them. So he says, okay, lesson 1, I push it to you and they'll get more of the content. So I can't show you the full experience, but this is just an example of how teachers are using this in the classroom, and it's really fascinating. Also in math classes, you can see, the geometric shapes coming up in 3D. It's really fascinating how the kids are also reacting. So if I can get back that one. Oh, that's perfect. That's much better than anything I can do. So we're also using a lot this technology in Blippar and art. So this is one form of it. It's also to recognize art forms, but this is it's very nice actually. So I'm going to take your drawing here. So it was completely white before. And you'll see your wonderful butterfly was going to take the image and fly. So this is really, really cool because we're actually able to take a drawing that is done, map it, and have it go into a different environment. And so in the back room, there's many of these, and you can take some and try it yourself as well. The way we use it too is through art, as I said. So in many museums and things that we see, it's very difficult to sometimes understand paintings or things or where they come from. And that's where words are sometimes limiting us to what we understand of what we see. And this technology allows you to just point your phone and understand who's the artist, what's the painting about, where you can find that, and all of that. So there's one last example I'm going to show you. And so this is really cutting edge technology. So this is an apple that I have here. And as you can see, in a split second, I pointed the apple and it recognized that it's an apple. So it can seem so fast and simple, but behind this is a tremendous amount of work and technology. This is actually artificial intelligence because for us, an apple is exactly the same. You can recognize it, but actually each apple, from a technical standpoint, is very different. So you need to teach the computer with thousands and thousands of images of apples until it learns that this is an apple. And this is what we call deep learning. And this is really the future of where we're going to be able to point your phone at things around you and recognize and then have content on it. Thank you very much. So I hope this allowed you to get a better view of what computer vision is, what augmented reality is, how it's changing our lives, how it's changing industries, and hopefully maybe encourage you to, take a step into it from any background that you have. So thank you very much.